was a minor. The Rebbe said a minor. The Rebbe mentioned that inside. The Rebbe mentioned that inside that minor, which I'd been chazering that in a minor from the Rebbe Marach. Say the Rebbe doesn't run the world with Ashgacha Pratis Golui. And there's another mitzvah that I could indicate a similar thing that happened to me on the same thing, but it'll take away too much time and I won't be able to. So I decided that I would like to sort of try and organize, if I could be sort of more incognito, and that I would be. Now, this is, in a way, it's private information, but maybe not. When I say incognito, I didn't want to be too recognized. I didn't want to sort of get people ask me questions. So I mentioned that was what was next in my thing, because it was, it was an important thing in my thought at that time. I mentioned it to the Rebbe. So the Rebbe said to me that he understands it. The Rebbe said he appreciates it, and the Rebbe quoted a Zohar HaKodesh that suggests that you should be called kach v'kach, but he said it's not muchrak, you don't have to be called that way. So he said to me, there's no reason why you can't change your name. Change your name, and you can have your own name, and you'll be called so and so, Ben Avraham. And therefore, not everybody needs to know. It won't be so obvious. Not everybody needs to know. So the Rebbe said, in Ma Toiv or Manoim, they should choose the name of one of the Rabbi. That's what the Rebbe said. Should choose the name of one of the Rabbi. And then he said, you'll get an aliyah to the Torah. You get called up to the Torah in public, and everybody will hear that you've been called by that name. And then it becomes, after a certain time, becomes a chazach, and it becomes your name. That's what it is. But it's important that you get called up in public by that name, and it's like an announcement that this is your name, by the Sefer Torah. So the Rebbe said you should choose the name of one of the Rabbi. But he didn't tell me which one. He just said you should choose. But it's a very good idea, and the Rebbe praised the idea that I changed my name. Very, very amazing. So I was going to fill in a little bit of background, and then we'll have to call it a night. I'm sorry. So what happened was that when I get out of Yechidus, I think to myself, what name am I going to choose? What name? And particularly that I've always admired the Rebbe Rashab's Yechidus. Unbelievable. It's had an unbelievable influence on my life. The Rebbe Rashab. Remember, I thought maybe I'll change. I'll call myself a. So anyway, I meet up with Rabbi, my mashpia, and he was very thrilled. He wanted to hear all the things that I'd had in Yechidus. So when I get to that, he was tremendously impressed. He said, "This is the heiligkeit from the Rebbe." And I said, "This is the Rebbe's kedusha, and this is your, you're going to become a different person." Yeah, he was tremendously thrilled by the whole thing. And then he said to me one thing, however. He said, "Listen," he said, "you are not a single person in life." He said, "You have a partner in life. He said, you have a wife." So he said, maybe she, you got to have another name. Maybe she should be given the right also to share an opinion. And then he said, why not? And then he started getting enthused. He said, why shouldn't she have the right to say also? And he got all worked up about it. And he said, you have to send a telegram or phone your wife. In those days, it was very hard to phone, an international phone. He said, get your wife on the phone and see what she says about it. So eventually I did. I spoke with my wife. I told her from now on I'm probably going to be shown that. She said, no. She doesn't want that. She doesn't want that. She said she would like, and then she thought for a minute. She said, Schneerzauber. That's what she said. Schneerzauber. The old Rebbe. I said, okay, don't worry about that. So anyway, I said to Rabbi, what do I do? There's a machlekes. So he said, write it to the Rebbe. Write that gufa to the Rebbe. So a few days after the Yechidus, before I went to Jamaica, it's amazing how the Rebbe had time to to just keep up with all these thousands things. I write in a little petting and I say that my wife prefers Schneer Zalman, even though I had maybe some other ideas, but my wife prefers Schneer Zalman. What shall I choose? But, maybe the Rebbe would help me. That's it. So I get a letter from the Rebbe, and the Rebbe underlined the words Schneer Zalman. The Rebbe put a big, heavy line under Schneer Zalman, and he put an arrow down to the bottom, and he said, Yehei b'shor tova u'metzlachas. So we should be in a good and auspicious hour, Schneer Zalman. So after I came back from Jamaica, I think it was Sukkot, I got an aliyah. They gave me an aliyah, and they called him a loud name. They called my name Schneer Zalman. That's how I got the name Schneer Zalman. That's how I'm Schneer Zalman. Ever since then, I've come over and I've been Schneer Zalman. So there we are. Good. Okay.
All right. What was your name beforehand?